Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to Creative Dialogues, Business in the Arts Industry. We are delighted to have with us today Mohammed Al Suwaidi, founder of Asatir, Waleed Shah, a Fuji ex-photographer, and Petra Kaltenbach, a curator and a freelance artist. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Jackie Koba, the Innovation Associate at the Al Qasimi Foundation. Co-hosting with me is...
And my name is Sokrat bin Bishar, the Art and Culture Manager at the Sheikh Saud bin Saghir Al Qasimi Foundation for Policy Research.
Without further ado, Sokrat, let's get the ball rolling. Take it away.
We need to start. Let's go. Thank you very much, Jackie, and thank you very much for our speakers for tonight and all of the audience who are watching us today through our channel. So first of all, I will ask the audience, our speakers, sorry, if you can mute your mics whenever we will ask a question, you can answer so that we don't have an echo in between. So the first question would be, let's know more about, who you are. So tell us briefly about your artistic background, and let's start with Petra.
Yeah, hi. I would like to start with my study. I hold a master's degrees in visual communication, which I got in Germany. And I've been working in the advertising agency for about, let's say, 17 years. So it's quite a long experience. And I was owning an advertising agency for about 10 years. So this is included there. And there I got a lot of business experience as well. And when I moved to Dubai, that was in 2004, I thought, okay, now I'm going to start to fulfill my dream to be an artist. And I would have loved that before as well, but wasn't able to do that. And here I said, okay, yeah, I'm going to try my luck. And also this is already 17 years ago. It's quite a long time. And yeah, in the very beginning, as you might know or can imagine, here was not that much in the art scene. It was really, really a grassroots scene. And I really had to search for opportunities to find my way in the public and to be recognized, to exhibit and all these kind of things. I think in 2015 around, I started to become really a full-time artist. And at that time also, for example, World Art Dubai started. So I exhibited there from the beginning onwards, and there I was awarded, and afterwards they appointed me as a curator as well, and I'm doing that since 3 years now. And in between, of course, I got a sponsorship from Canon, because I'm using their technologies in my artworks. It's pretty unique what I'm doing there. I'm mixing my printing files, which I'm creating on the computer, and I'm printing them on my artwork. So it's really a very unique technique, let's say it like this. And so they are still sponsoring me and pushing me in their events.
Wow, that's
that's very exciting and very unique. I'm really the only artist worldwide who is working like this and doing it like this. That's quite a nice thing. And of course, there are other things like Ras Al Khaimah Art Festival, where I'm participating also since a few years, and I really love that.
Yeah, and we really enjoy your artwork. It's amazing. I mean, we have seen
thank you very much.
Have been seeing your artwork.
But see, I'm truly in love with this festival. For me, it's one of the very, very nicest festivals I've ever seen. It's such a lovely combination from the old Pearl Fisher Village with the new billboards there and all the light. It's just magical. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Petra. Thank you for the very lovely introduction. And now maybe we're gonna move to Mr. Waleed.
Right. Hi everyone, Waleed here, Waleed Shah. I'm a photographer. I used to be a chemical engineer and then made the switch through like sort of a process of like 10 years. I used to work in oil and then I opened a recording studio to make and record music. I was a musician as well. And through that process, I learned photography. And we kind of shut down the studio before I actually quit my day job in the oil field. And a year later, about 2016-ish, when the oil price crashed, I was let go from my job. And by that time, I had sort of built up a good amount of clients to sustain myself. And I decided not to look for a job again and kind of make this photography career work. And it's been great. I shoot a lot of commercial stuff. I shoot stuff like cars and lifestyle and fashion and all that stuff. And on the side, I work on my own sort of personal art projects or passion projects, and they usually have something to do with society, how society sees us, how we fit into society, and it's sort of like sometimes it's very deep, like a book I wrote called Rock Your Ugly, where we talk about people's insecurities and vulnerabilities and mental health issues, all the way to stuff like a project I did called Magazine Cover, where I blatantly, sarcastically make fun of the fashion and beauty industry. Yeah, so that's me.
Oh, thank you. Very interesting. Also, Waleed, mashallah. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Mohammed Al Suwaidi.
مرحبا زقات. Wow, I've been honored to join such a company. Petra and Waleed, they've got. I think we share the same passion. Mohammed Al Suwaidi. I was always passionate about pearls and design. My pearl passion started like I would say 12 years back when I first joined my first job right after college. Again, I did something very different for my studies. I did politics, but I was curious to know how the world works around and how the politics works. But I always had the passion of for the artworks and for the design objects. So once I finished college, I joined the pearl farm Ras Al Khaimah, where I had access to go through the operation and getting to know more about pearls and mother of pearl. And that was the moment where I was overwhelmed with how rich we are in terms of culture and material. And I always had the idea of having a workshop that translate whatever I have in mind, because I've been seeing the local material everywhere, on the beach, on the mountains, everywhere. We are a nation or a society rich of everything. We have a rich history, and we have a rich material. So especially in Ras Al Khaimah, as you know, we have the sea, the mountain, and the desert. So I always have something in mind. If I want to make pieces, I want to make something special from by us and from the UAE. So I stepped in early 2016, experimenting how I can reintroduce the pearl and the mother of pearl in a different way, not in jewelry, not in ordinary box. I need to make something and to reintroduce the mother of pearl in something, I don't know, and anything that would add value to the material itself, or it will have a story to tell. That's why early 2017, I launched Asatir, which is legends, to celebrate or to interpret the essence of the beautiful story that we have.
And we're going to
And
go
modern
back to
craft
that.
features.
We're going to go back to Asatir, Mohammed, and you have a lot of questions about Asatir. If you don't mind me, Yani, which how we start Asatir. So now on, I mean, thank you very much also, Mohammed, for introducing yourself, and thank you for everyone for introducing themselves. And now I move on to my colleague Jackie for her question.
Thank you very much, Sukrat, and the speakers. Very unique yet eclectic backgrounds, from engineering, oil, advertising, politics to art. So that brings me to my next question. Making it in the art world isn't for the faint of hearts. It requires a strategy and determination. How have you been able to develop your career? I'll start off with Shah, please.
How was I able to develop my career? It's a very broad question. I think it's a mix of timing, willpower, and sort of learning from different industries. And I think the last thing would be sort of like I had to do it at some point. So you know, I grew up as an artist, but not knowing to call myself an artist, kind of thing. I was always great at you know, math and school. I was very much an engineer growing up, but I was also a musician as a child. You know, I used to paint and draw and, you know, all that stuff, but I never took it seriously. But when I came back from college, I started this recording studio with my friends just to kind of hang out. We wanted to just kind of find a reason for us to get together after work and just do something that we all enjoy, and you know, the money will come later, you know.
Sorry, Shah, where was that?
It was in Abu Dhabi. I had a recording studio. Yeah, it was called White Cube Studios, and we grew the company, and it started to make money to a point where my partners, which were my closest friends, decided, they're like, hey man, this is too big. Like we can't handle this. We don't want to leave our day jobs to do this. But so, you know, either we had to shut it down or somebody had to leave their day jobs. And so thankfully we grew a successful business, even though we didn't want to. And it was just sort of, you know, we just wanted to hang out and be together. So after that, after we shut that down, then comes sort of the timing and the necessity, where I ended up losing my job, but at the same time I had already kind of built some photography clients. So it's also the timing, you know.
Yes.
And then, you know, the necessity happened when I decided, I'm like, maybe this oil thing isn't for me. I like this photography thing. Let me just take a chance and see if I can build this further to like a full-time entity. And thankfully, alhamdulillah, it's been great. You know, it's been, I think, about 9 years since being a photographer as a business. And I think I had my peak of my career maybe like 2 years ago before Corona, and then everything kind of crashed. And then let's see what happens in the next few years.
Inshallah, that's profound. What do you think?
I was gonna think, yeah, I think a lot of people, they find their you know, their second job, or their, you know, after a pandemic or after a certain type of, you know, like a certain type of thing that happens, and then suddenly, you know, you find yourself in a new position and new work. But actually, I would actually go to another question, which is, how do you seek out opportunities to display your, or showcase your work? And this question, I would take it to Mohammed Al Suwaidi. Or do you want me
Mohammed,
to
please unmute.
Yeah, I didn't get your question, Sokrat. I think what I
Want me to
understand
repeat
from
the
your
question?
question is how to reach out. I first started thinking about the value proposition or why I'm doing this. By figuring out the why of doing this thing, it was easy for me to determine where should I showcase the pieces or with whom should I collaborate. And for me, it was Al-Qasimi Foundation as the first organization to reach. I don't know if you remember Sokrat back in 2017.
That was a very great project, actually.
So yeah, I mean, for me, the more you understand yourself, the more you understand your art or your objects, it's becoming clear for you where you should go or where you should position. This is for me how I seek opportunities.
But before you have your your warehouse, where did you showcase your work? How do people?
Of course, as every startup do, I head to Instagram, and I did my best to execute a grid or a guideline for me to post. Of course, it was a mess for the first few months, but then I had to delete, to archive, to repost better pictures, and I see the engagement. The good thing about the social media, it gives you an insight how people are interacting and this is very helpful tool for a beginner or a startup to see the acceptance or how people will interact with your work or with your objects.
So you use social media at the beginning?
Of course. Then I stepped to exhibitions, and the art festival or some part of special selected exhibitions in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, where I think I will meet my audience or my targeted audience.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. And Petra, can I ask you the same question, please? How do you seek the opportunities, and where can we see your showcasing your artwork or your work?
It's also about the thing with the understanding of the work. I only can agree. The more you are understanding your own work, your own value, and from there you decide where you can see your art. So I did it all in the very beginning. I was exhibiting in every a hotel, a room, everything what was possible just to be visible. But I also took part in open calls, which was not easy, especially at the beginning, because most of the open calls were either for locals or for people who have been much younger than me. So there was only one. It was the International Emerging Artist Award, which is still somehow existing, a little bit modified. But there I got my first recognition, and from there a lot of things started because I could see that me and my work were appreciated, and I really found that that these open calls are adding lots of values to your work. Yeah.
Thank you, Petra. Thank you for your answer. I will leave it with Jackie.
Thanks. Speaking of recognition, What challenges have you faced in the process of bringing your work to new audiences, and how do you engage in the UAE or Ras Al Khaimah art landscape? Let's start with you, Shah, because you mentioned something about hitting your peak 2 years ago, and then the pandemic happened. Please give us your insight.
I think that the one thing that that resonated with me and I started doing was, if you know Gary Vee always says, hey man, like no one owes you anything. The world won't find you by themselves if you don't get out there. So my go-to strategy, which is not a great strategy, or it's a very time-consuming strategy, but I research the hell out of everything and everybody on Instagram, and I DM about maybe 30 to 50 people a day, just saying, hey, I do this, what's up guys, come get me, blah, blah, blah. I just DM as many people as possible. Somebody's bound to reply. And then obviously at some point, you don't really have time to do that. And that's a good thing, because when you don't have time to do that, it means you're getting work and you're actually doing actual work. So there's a, there comes like a time where it's a balance, right? So you have no work going on, you're DMing so many people, and then people start to reply, you're still DMing some people, and then you get some work, and then that work through word of mouth leads to more and more work, and eventually you don't really need to DM anybody, and everybody's kind of coming to you. So I reached a point career-wise when there would be like a brief out for a job, I would get the same brief from maybe like 6 or 7 different production companies trying to hire me for the same job, which is a very, very nice place to be. So no matter who got the job, I would get the job. I would be the person shooting it. Unfortunately, it's not the case now. This was maybe 2 years ago. Now, because of the pandemic and everybody kind of stopped working. Also, there's Expo going on, so there's a lot of supply of talent, and the prices kind of came down a little bit. So I'm back to DMing people a lot now, and hopefully that'll change soon.
Inshallah, there is still that silver line there. Soon you'll get back on. How about Mohammed Al Suwaidi? What's your story? Please unmute.
Yes. For me and for Asatir, my friend in the business or the mainly in design advised me to be patient and to have the entrepreneur mindset, and you don't chase. Yes, you have to chase. You have to pay an effort and explore the potential and opportunities, but at the same time you have to be because I'm into the field of luxury, and luxury requires time and to reach by word of mouth or by experience. It took me like not more. It took me almost 3 years for people to get to know me in the UAE world, in the whole UAE, and still I didn't reach. I just reached a percentage. It's not that much. I'm not really that well known, but I reach in terms of the client. I've got a very good clientele base that who's interested in a VIP or VVIP gifts or objects. At the very early days, it was really horrible, and it was really it's really a stress of having opportunities here and there, but with the advice of the design community, they said it's a very normal thing. You have to concentrate more on the strategy and in the making and in the quality, and one day it will click. And luckily now we are seeing the result of this in 2020. Sorry.
That's a great news, alhamdulillah.
That's interesting to say. Inshallah, all will get well. From what you just said, your story and Shah's it takes a lot of grit and tenacity to actually make it in the art world. Because oftentimes when we just see the glitz and glamour, we think it's all rosy, but it's a lot of work that you guys put in. Yes, we wish you the best. Petra, what or how do art festivals like the Ras Al Khaimah Fine Arts Festival support young artists in showcasing their talent?
Yeah, I really think it has to do with exploration and being discovered. These art festivals, I feel they are an ideal platform to just be out in a very smart form. Many people are coming there, having a look. Press is taking their part in it and helping, of course. And I think you are able to get new contacts and just to be more in the mind of the people, and that's quite important, especially for young artists. Yeah.
Maybe ask this question to Mohammed.
Yes.
As Petra and Mohammed was they participated in the Ras Al Khaimah Festival.
I did participate twice in RACFAF, and both opportunities opened and allowed the chance to meet with a potential client or with the people who appreciate. I've been hearing nice comments or words or encouragement from a different category of people. I was really touched by when someone greet you or encourage you to stay on this route and to keep pushing for more or diverse object. I've been hearing about hearing comments from the visitor of the RACFAF for more new ideas. It was it's just meeting people or the right people, because the RACFAF is targeting certain segments. It's not like a mall or an ordinary shop. It's only the people who's interested in art and design will pass by, and those the people who will understand your work. So it was a very fruitful, or it was an important step for me to decide to join RACFAF back in 2018 and 19.
Thank you,
Mohammed. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
May I add something?
Yes.
I really, I would like to say, I noticed that there is a huge, in whole UAE, a huge gap between, let's say, exhibiting events on the lower level and to the very high end. In the whole middle, there is nothing. And for example, the Ras Al Khaimah Art Festival is one of the possibilities to fill in a little bit. It's, I feel it's quite hard for newcomers, but also for mid-career artists really to find their place. And therefore, I think we all can be very grateful to have these opportunities of the art festivals.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Petra, for this wonderful words. Shukran. Thank you. I will ask Waleed. Waleed, how do you measure? I mean, because we have a lot of artists, they're watching us, people from the background of a business or they're starting their new business. But we also like to know, how would you measure your brand or the success of what, as a photographer? Let's say now we're discussing about a photographer. Everybody has a camera, everybody has, wants to open a studio, but how can we measure the success of that?
It's one of these questions that I believe in one answer that's very sort of controversial. Unfortunately, it's money. How much are you making?
Mhm.
Really, as a business. So if you're making money as a photographer and you can put food on the table, and you can make more money as a freelancer or as a business owner rather than as a 9-to-5 employee, great. You're doing great. If you're not making money, then you're not doing very well. It's very, very simple. Unfortunately, people, when you ask this to people, it's like, oh, if you're happy in your life and if you're, blah blah blah, all that stuff. That's like cool, thank you, but really, if you can make money out of it, you're doing well. If you're not doing well. Simple.
Or as everybody, if you're a photographer, come just take photos of our friends' wedding or something.
Yeah. But I have a rule. I don't do family and friends. If you invite me to your wedding, and if you say, hey, bring your camera, I'm not coming to the wedding.
No, that's a good tip. That's a very good tip.
And the other tip is my general mindset is friends and family pay full price. If you're my friend and my family, you're gonna support me, and you're gonna pay full price. If I'm supporting you in your shoemaking business or your pottery business, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna buy something at full price. And I'm not expecting discounts.
That's a very good tip.
Shah, that's very interesting. So you do not mix business and pleasure. That's a good one.
So I will ask this question to Petra. How do you measure your brand success? Or like in your way, like paintings and selling artworks?
See, for me, one of the main things is the word of mouth. So I get a lot of recommendation also to others. I would say that's the main thing. And in addition, since COVID is there, I would say it's also the online sales. So that is still a bit new to me, and I have to see, but so far it's not too bad. Yeah.
That's a good also question. I'm gonna skip downwards to a few of the other good questions. It's not hard questions, but those are just starting as we are having almost 10 minutes. But one of the questions would be to Mr. Mohammed. But if we can have a brief بس مختصر مثلا how is it how is it like to run a team of a creative, like basically just to paraphrase it, to run a team and a company with a creative, your creative background and hiring creative people and opening your shop, and how does it feel, or how can you run it? Let's have this idea, since you are the one, we know that you open Asatir very latestly.
Yes, it's a very difficult to balance between being a designer or a design entrepreneur and entrepreneurship. Sometimes you have to. It's very hard to balance it, honestly, because at the end of the day, as Waleed says, if it's making money, then you are good. Otherwise, nobody would. It's everything going to stop. So having the skills of entrepreneurship, which is very, very difficult. It's more difficult than, because it's not the passion is always in design, but being a manager or an accountant or you don't supposed to know everything. That's the hard part. How to keep the cash come in, managing people, and by time it's becoming how to say, it's not easier, but it's manageable when you manage to select or hit hunt the right people who share your thoughts and beliefs. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to control them or to work together as a team, because having a design studio means that you need the effort of everybody in not only in the production or the design, in everything, in the day-to-day business, being it cleaning the office or producing the most valuable piece. So all effort or all is needed.
Thank you, Mohammed. And just a quick question: if you want to visit your tasatir, is it in Ras Al Khaimah?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yes, it's a workshop and design studio.
Okay, thank you.
Shah, this question is directed at you. Is there a difference between the work you display as a commercial photographer and the creative work you do for your series in terms of creativity, preparation, and approach?
Yeah, for sure. My commercial work is all cars and lifestyle and fashion and food and all that stuff. Very if you like to say safe to put in front of anybody. My personal work is not very safe. It might not be very halal for Ras Al Khaimah festival, I would think, maybe, but it's both graphic in the visual sense and maybe a little bit shocking in society's sense. I don't know how much I can speak on this show, but go check my work out and you'll kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. But it's very, it makes you it makes people very uncomfortable, I would say, and that's the point. It makes you uncomfortable both when you look at it and when you think about it. It's hard to display in places like the UAE, but some places are brave enough to do it. It's all legal, but it's all like, oh, do I really want to put this up there? And legal enough that my book is published and approved in the UAE by the National Media Council. So it's all there. It's all fine, but people get shocked a little bit. So yeah, there's a big difference.
Thank you. And we will do the last question for Mrs. Petra, and then followed by that, we'll do Q&A questions. We have a lot of Q&A questions.
Shah would need to go back and get that distinction. Thanks. Petra, we were told that you're one of the recipients of the UAE Cultural Visa. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
How was the process like, and why did you choose the UAE as your destination for your art career?
So the process was quite easy. You only need to go to the website of the Dubai government and send in your bio, your CV, and your portfolio. But I really recommend also to send in some recommendation letters. So I was lucky and got a recommendation letter from the German embassy, because I'm working quite closely with them, and also from Belda Dubai. So they are stated in these recommendation letters that I'm doing quite a lot of things for the art scene in Dubai. And I think that really convinced the committee. So after a very short while of 3 months, God, for the waiting time, I received the letter that I was granted 10 years visa. And yeah, that's quite a cool thing. Yeah. Yes. And it's really great, because now I'm also able to sponsor my family. That's quite a nice thing. And
what would your message be for the artists here in UAE in general, or in the world?
Regarding the visa, or
yes.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, just go and apply. It's for me, it's a compliment from the government to receive this. It's at first I thought, okay, it's quite easy, but I think it's not. It's really it's not so easy as I thought, because there are so many, of course, and I think the government is really having a look at who is able to receive it, or who really is the one where we want to sponsor with this with, and that's quite nice. So I really feel it's a huge honor. Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So now we go to the Q&A. We will start with, we have two questions. I think we can take two questions. One is for Mr. Mohammed. Question for Mr. Mohammed. I am submitting a pearl design for IBDA 2021 jewelry competition. Would it be difficult to include golden pearls in my design? Can we get it from Ras Al Khaimah? That's a question for Mr. Mohammed.
I think I'm not really. The golden pearls are not really sourced from the UAE. It's usually sourced from the Philippines or the Eastern Asian region. I'm not really sure if they will find the same colors in the UAE or sourced from the UAE.
But what we can do is we can share with you Mr. Mohammed's website, and maybe you can email him and have a look at his website, if you don't mind, Mr. Mohammed, and maybe you can ask him a few questions regarding this other pearls. We have another question.
Yes, this question is from Mariam. Hello, everyone from the Netherlands. My question is for Petra. Are you considering starting a new pictorial movement? I think this is with regard to your art techniques.
Again, I didn't understand the...
Are you considering to start a new pictorial movement? This is with regards to your art technique.
I don't know if it's a new movement, but I think that in general, the digital integration of into the arts, that is the new movement, definitely, yes. And I'm not only talking about these NFTs, where I feel it's still taking some years to really integrate, but to have new technologies into the art, definitely, yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Petra. I think we have those questions for today. Thank you very much for everyone, who's being with us tonight. Thank you for the speakers, and thank you for everyone for joining us today for our creative dialogue. Once again, we would like to thank our speakers, Mr. Mohammed Al Suwaidi, Waleed Shah, and Petra Kaltenbach. Is that right? Yes, thank you. For those who joined us late, or if you would you want to share it with someone that he will enjoy this conversation, this conversation has been recorded, and it will be in our YouTube channel, Al Qasimi Foundation, at our platform. When you leave this webinar, you will have a link, a survey. It will just take you 2 to 3 minutes. And we wish that, please, if you can just fill out for that, if you can fill the feedback, it will help us a lot for our upcoming, inshallah, creative dialogues, and it's going to help us a lot with the new topics. If this is your first event with us at the Al Qasimi Foundation, please do not forget to sign up for our mailing list to receive more about the community and all of the upcoming events that we do. Especially the Ras Al Khaimah Fine Arts Festival, but it's coming soon, inshallah, on the 4th of February. At the end, on behalf of the Al Qasimi Foundation, thank you for joining us today, and have a great afternoon for everyone. Shukran jazilan on behalf of me, Sarat bin Bishar.
and Jackie.
And Jackie. And thank you for the speakers. Shukran jazilan.
Shukran.
Thank you very
Masalama.
much.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shukran. Thank you.